Sheik and Reek, episode 2.
Episode 2. Yes, sir.
Okay, what is on
Uh,
the agenda today, Dave?
I guess we'll start off with the Premier League. What did you think about the matches this week, Yazan?
Thought they're pretty good, entertaining. My favorite one was Man City, of course. Got to see Haaland in action. What do you think about the Man City game?
The Man City game looked very interesting. It didn't show any weakness that we saw from the Community Shield. Holland looked like he belonged. Um, Foden looked like he belonged. KDB is KDB at the end of the day. Him and Gundogan really bossed the midfield around. You had Rodri that was doing some great work defensively in defensive midfield. And they just looked dominated from start to finish. It really didn't seem like that loss really affected them at all.
Concur with everything you just said. I thought West Ham was clearly missing Mark Noble. I thought he was a pivotal piece to their team in the past, and like they can use that leadership on the first team. Also, I don't think they've made any transfers this year. West Ham, they're kind of going off of the same squad they had last year, which was a strong team. But I think they clearly needed some additional pieces, in particular a CDM and maybe a right or left winger.
Yeah, Bowen could actually be more productive as the season progresses, but against Man City, they really didn't have enough juice. Declan Rice could also be one of those players that could lead them to actually captain the team and actually lead them to success, but he needs to be more direct, I guess. But then again, it's Man City, so you can't really hold it against them,
Yeah,
against one player.
yeah. Declan Rice is a great player. I mean, West Ham just doesn't have that quality up front for someone like Declan Rice to demonstrate some of the skills he has. Like, I mean, they're not that technical as a team. They're not that offensive as a team. And I mean, if you're Declan Rice, you can only do so much. In terms of Man City, I like the way they look. Of course, they dominated possession like they usually do. Haaland looked great. I mean, even though they pretty much parked the bus the whole game, West Ham, he had two opportunities to make runs, and literally both of those opportunities were goals. First one ended up being a penalty. Foul was on him.
Mhm.
Second one was that great run he made, FIFA style run, through ball,
Yeah.
and the finish impeccable. Like you knew it was going to be a goal before he even got there.
Don't
Um,
forget, West Ham is a very tough environment to play in.
Tough environment, first game of the season. You know they have pressure because they see it as an opportunity. Liverpool just drew against Fulham, so there's an opportunity to take the lead, and they went out there to take care of business.
Yeah, it was very interesting to see the team play for Haaland. Like everybody wanted Haaland to score. Like everybody was so excited when he scored. Foden was throwing in crosses. Grealish was throwing in crosses. De Bruyne had them passes. Gundogan was going through, like setting up. Everybody really just wanted Haaland to have a great first game in the Premier League. They wanted him to score. They wanted him to succeed. I think that's gonna be the game changer as the season progresses because you have a squad that's intact and that they really want to play for that one in particular player. So it's going to be interesting to see as the season progresses.
I think the exciting prospect is going to be him and KDB.
Mhm.
That's the special tendon that no one else in the Premier League can say they have anything close to. You have
That's
a
true.
world class number 9 and arguably the best player in the Premier League. And if once they start get going, I mean they already seem to have good chemistry now. That's only going to improve as the season goes, and it's going to be scary for other teams out there.
It is, and you can't count out Gundogan, and you really can't count out Mahrez and Foden. Those players, they could be the difference whenever you need them to be.
Yeah. So what else is on the agenda besides Man City?
I mean, I don't know. Did you catch Everton versus Chelsea?
I watched a little bit of it. Chelsea looks okay. I don't think they're as bad as everyone was making them out to be. Like the sky is falling. No, they still look really solid. They still have that defensive shape under Tuchel. Sterling looks impressive, but I think he's missing Man City right about now, and I'll tell you why.
Why do you
There
say
was a
that?
few runs he made in that game. where clearly if you're Jorginho or you're Mason Mount, you have to look for Sterling. Like he made some runs behind the defense where it's like just play the ball, give the man an opportunity, and it was clearly there, and they would just miss him. Or they won't even look for the pass.
Yeah, Sterling had a great game. He had like 2 or 3 chances that were goal. He had a goal that was ruled offside. Defensively, they looked solid with the addition of Koulibaly, and Silva honestly was their best defender that on the day. But wait until Koulibaly gets in form, you're gonna have a solid duo with Thiago Silva and Koulibaly. They kept Azpilicueta, even though we thought he was going to go to Barcelona. They signed him on a 2-year deal, so he's staying. Ben Chilwell is probably going to be their left back, so they're going to have similar solidity. I just hope that he stays healthy he can stay healthy for the remainder of the season. Unfortunately for Everton, they didn't have Calvert-Lewin, my bad. He's out for 6 weeks, so it's going to be interesting to see how Lampard shapes up the team without a solidified striker up front. I really feel bad for Ben Godfrey. Had a fractured leg in his challenge with Kai Havertz, so get well soon to Ben Godfrey.
Get well soon.
Yeah.
Do you think Everton makes regular relegation this year?
I don't think so. They're very far from that. With week 1, you saw Nottingham Forest look like they're going to be one of the teams that's going to get relegated. You didn't see Southampton look special. I think Everton is going to be better than some of those teams.
I agree. I think it's still early. We'll see how things shape up.
You really don't know who's going to get relegated up until maybe Christmas. You'll have a better idea of who the bottom teams are.
If I'm predicting, I'd say Nottingham Forest for sure. Like they just didn't look like they belong in the first division.
Yeah, and Newcastle didn't play particularly well, so that was really disappointing from Nottingham Forest. But then again, it's their welcome to the Premier League moment, so hopefully they can go past that and show you something, because Nottingham Forest is a historic team. I mean, they looked historic against Newcastle on the jerseys. They looked like they were placed in from the 1970s.
So Man United.
Man United.
Thoughts on Man United?
Where do I start with Man United? Okay. Eric Ten Hag is supposed to be coming in to set the records with Man United. He's supposed to bring in a culture. And you start the team with no Donny van de Beek. You stuck to the midfield duo of Scott McTominay and Fred that all Man United fans just despise at this point, right?
Yeah.
You started with Eriksen up front in the camp position. If you're going to place Eriksen in there, you're going to have to take off Bruno. You can't keep both of those players on. Like those players are ideally the same.
So do you think Eriksen can go off to the wing maybe?
I think the best thing that happened to Eriksen is when he put on Ronaldo in the second half and Eriksen stepped back. When Eriksen stepped back, he was more a facilitator. He could look up,
that is his natural position. If you remember with Tottenham, he played as a cam.
He did play with a cam, but with Man United, he played as almost like just a number 6. He was just, taking shots from far. He was trying to cross it in to Ronaldo. Rashford had missed a sitter, in my opinion. Rashford, you're better than that. You can't miss those chances, especially the one he got.
This is a prove-it year for Rashford. He has been on the downfall for the past 2-3 years.
He is. Lisandro Martinez had a welcome to the Premier League moment. I was interested to see how he would perform against more physical players, but it looked like he was being bullied. So I was interested to see if he's going to pop off in the next few games. Maybe he's going to have a redemption game or not. But honestly, it didn't look good for Lisandro Martinez. I do think he should have started with Varane. De Gea, why are you playing from the back? Why are you playing with you cannot play with your feet, and Maguire can't play with his feet.
But you got to remember, that's how he wants them to play.
He wants them to play like that. That's understandable. That's how he played with Ajax, but those aren't the players to do it.
I mean, I guess he's going to find that out the hard way, because I've seen clips of them in training where if they kick the ball from the back just to clear or something, he'll pull some Guardiola stuff. He'll stop training and demand that they pass it out from the back. See,
that's not total football that Ajax produced.
It's the Haaland way, like Cruyff. Of course, it's the Cruyff philosophy. Like, we have to keep the ball, we have to pass the ball. Every pass has a meaning. We don't waste possession.
I get that, but for Manchester United fans right now, it's hard to explain to them why you're starting Fred and McTominay and you're talking about an Ajax system, a Netherlands style of play where it's total football, because those two players are not the players for that.
No, I hear where you're coming from, but here's the thing. That's the style he probably knows how to coach the best, which is why he doesn't want to deviate from it. And second, I think he's gotten a raw deal with Man United ownership. The guy needs more players. This isn't good enough. This transfer was horrible for Man United.
Point, I don't really see players being the only issue, because they want De Jong, but De Jong's not going to fix your problems.
It helps. He's a foundational piece,
I guess, but he's not going to fix your problems, your overall problems. You have your best player who doesn't want to be there. You have Rashford, who has been up and coming for 3 years now. We have yet to see a consistent season out for Rashford. You have Bruno Fernandes. He gave you that one good half season, and since then he's been searching for himself again. So I don't understand. I get he needs players, but you have quality players that should be able or are just as capable of taking the load, and you don't see any of that. You don't see any of that from Bruno. You don't see any of that from Rashford. Ronaldo doesn't want to be there. Martial is not the player that he thinks he's going to get. There's got to be a reboot. Like, remember when we were talking about this last week, they were where Arsenal were. I don't even think they're there. I think they're 6 years away. Like when Ralph Ragnick said that last year, they said Liverpool are 6 years away. I actually do believe him. I think that Man United are 6 years away from actually achieving anything.
So you said something interesting. You said, I don't think they need players because the players that they have should be able to carry the load. And then you went on to bash Rashford, Bruno Fernandes, Fred, and McTominay.
Yes.
So to me, that right there is proving to me that they don't have the players to carry the load. And they haven't had the players to carry the load for a while. And I think no matter who you have in that management spot, they're not going to produce until you get in better talent. And even more importantly, remove some of these characters out of the locker room. Because they're just losers. It's a loser's mindset. At this point, it's above talent. They're comfortable losing.
And that's the thing. There was no passion. Like the first goal from Gross. What is the defense doing? Like he had the easiest cross. There was no pressure.
There's no tenacity. There's no aggressiveness.
There's nothing. There's nothing. Like, you're Man United. When we used to say Man United, it meant something. It really did. When you said Fergie, that could dispute that. Like, Ferguson was the guy. Man United was the team. It was the biggest club in the world. Right now, when people say Man United, it's a joke.
Yeah,
it's a joke. But I mean, that being said, hats off to Brighton. Brighton have consistently.
Well, Brighton's been impressive for 2 seasons running now. I mean, it's only the first game of the season, but they're looking to pick up where they left off.
Yeah, Brighton have been consistently troubling for the top 6.
No, they've done it playing entertaining football as well. Yeah, they haven't been parking the bus and just playing counter. No, they've been taking it to other teams.
Yeah, I really respect Graham Potter and how he's been using his squad. Like, if you really look at it, can you tell me that McAllister or Welbeck, are they in the same position or not? Because sometimes you'd find them rotating all over. Or Trossard or Solly March, sometimes you'd see them on different sides of the field. Like, they really are a team that loves to play for each other. They really work for each other. And that's an indication that the manager is able to give his philosophy and project that on the field.
Yeah, Brighton looks really good. They're dark horse for me, top 6.
I wouldn't go that far. Relax.
I have them as my dark. Who's your top 6 right now?
I still think that. I mean, regardless, I do think Man United would end in top 6 after all I've said. But I don't think. I think Brighton will be in the upper half. I really do.
So if you had to name 6 right now, who are your 6?
The top 2: Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, Arsenal, Tottenham, and Man United.
Nah. See, I have pretty much the same list. I mean, with the exception of Man United. I don't even think they make top 6. I'm be
I
honest with
mean,
you.
not playing like that, but I actually fear that Eric Ten Hag doesn't have the time to implement his style because, like I told you, if you get rid of Ten Hag and do the Mourinho thing where you just fire him and let him go without him actually having his influence on the team, I think you're making another mistake. Remember when Mourinho said this was my biggest achievement, getting second place with this team? I'm starting to believe him. I really am.
Oh, I believed him the first day he said it. I believe him.
Yeah.
I mean, they call him a special one for a reason. But with Eric, I think they know when they hired him that this was going to take more than one season.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think he's under that much pressure. I think he has 2-3 seasons leeway, but you would like to see them at least be competitive. Like I'd compare him a la Detroit Lions in the NFL. Detroit Lions suck. Finished the season horrible, but they played as hard as possible in every single game of that NFL season. Played their guts out. And if you're Man United, okay, results might not always be there. It's a game in the end of the day. You might lose 1-0, you might lose 2-1, but play your heart out. Show us that you're Man United. Be competitive.
That's the thing. And after, there was no passion out of that team. Like there was no a sense of urgency. Like we're Man United. We're losing 2-0 at home. Even the goal that they have to their name, it wasn't really a goal. It was the mistake from the keeper. Yeah, it was their keeper's mistake.
Goal. Yeah.
Like McAllister was trying to clear it off the line, and he kind of slapped it on his legs. So it's like that was it. And other than that, you had maybe a chance from Ronaldo, that Rashford chance that I don't know what happened. Another name that goes unnoticed is Sancho. Like, what is Jadon Sancho doing on that team?
And they were so hyped to get him when he was in Dortmund. I mean, he was like their number one priority for 2 transfer windows.
And right now, looking at him, I mean, 80 mil. I mean, I wouldn't pay 30 mil for the player like that if that's what he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, we were bashing Jack Grealish last time, but Jadon Sancho's in that category.
I mean, honestly, I'd have Grealish over Sancho.
At this point, to me, they're both, not what they should have been. Let's put it that way.
It really is disappointing to see a top, like when you see Man United as a top team, you expect Man United as a top team to give you the top performances. It's a good thing for the brand, for the Premier League.
We say that, but they've been showing performances like this for the past few seasons now. At what point are we going to accept this is the new standard for Man United?
I mean, to be realistic, it was the new standard. Ollie's second year in charge, and that was it. We really didn't get a new. Yeah.
At this point, it is what it is,
Yeah, they need to actually give Ten Hag his time. I do believe that, but I agree. Like Donny Van de Beek should have been starting that game as a player. Donny Van de Beek, my best performances were under this man. This man comes in. I want to prove myself. What is Donny Van de Beek showing in training that Eric Ten Hag's like, maybe I want to keep him, and I want to keep Fred, I want to keep McTominay.
Maybe he's just not matching the physicality of the Premier League.
That could be an issue. That actually could be the issue because he did have that stint in Everton where he was on loan and didn't really see much. You saw some performances here and there, but really not much.
Yeah, that's one of the big adjustments players have to make once they get to England. It's just the game is fast tempo, the physicality is at another level. I mean, the skills and technique is there, but you have to adapt.
Yeah.
Anyways, who else? So Liverpool and Fulham, 2-2, huh?
That was a shocker. Big props to Alexander Mitrovic. Had an MVP performance against Liverpool.
Bullied people. A straight up bully out there on that field.
Like, this is the thing, man. Alexander Arnold, what are you doing? It seems like every time we're looking at a defensive error from Liverpool, Alexander Arnold's in the Arnold.
They're starting to stack up.
Yeah, they're starting to stack up. Like he needs a crash course under Jose Mourinho or Conte.
They had the Real Madrid final. The goal was his fault, technically. The semifinals of the Champions League against Villarreal. Also,
Also his fault.
his fault.
Mhm.
Now you got this against Fulham. I mean, he's a world class right back, but at what point are we gonna say your defensive skills need work, my friend?
This is the thing. He's so good offensively. He gives you so much, but at the end of the day, your position is right back. You need to carry that load defensively.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not expecting him to win that ball against Mitrovic, but you have to try to put him off. I mean, you gotta tug at his shirt. You gotta make the angle a little bit more difficult. Have him shove you. You can't just let him go right on top of you and then basically bully you and stick it in the back of the net.
I mean, be aware. Just be aware. Like awareness is a thing with this player, is because against Real Madrid, all you need to do is look over your shoulder. You'll see Vinicius Jr. behind you. The same thing with Alexander Mitrovic. Look over your shoulder. You'll see him right behind you. You're going to be aware that he's going to attack the ball when the cross comes in.
Yeah, these are the times I really respect players like Dani Alves. Dani Alves gave you something going forward, world class right back offensively, but he had these defensive techniques where he'd get beat, but he wouldn't get exposed. Like he'd make the last ditch tackle. He'll try to put players off. He'll track back. He has awareness. I mean, Alexander Arnold. If I'm him, I'm reaching out to guys like that. I'm picking their birds.
I really want to give him the benefit of the doubt that he's still young and he still has a lot to improve. But you're a world-class player right now. Like, honestly, he's one of my favorite players. His ability to cross the ball, his intelligence on offense, his free kicks, his set piece skill. Very intelligent guy. But defensively, you need to be a bit more sharp than that.
And there comes a point, if you're Klopp, you have to ask yourself the question if these defensive deficiencies continue. Is he a winger? Do you need to change his position?
I don't think you would put him in as winger. I think the only thing that you could probably put him in is he could be a part of that center midfield.
Yeah, or a center mid. But a position change will have to be contemplated if these defensive deficiencies continue.
I just think they need to do a better job of and actually being aware of his defensive presence. Because I do think he's a decent defender. He's not great, but I think he needs to be a bit more aware. Because like these goals being out jumped by Mitrovic. Why? Because you didn't see him behind you. He's being beaten by Vinicius Jr. Why? Because he didn't pay attention. He didn't like have a simple thing like look over your shoulder. Like looking over your shoulder is one of those rare, underrated skills that footballers need to have in their arsenal.
I mean, with the Real Madrid goal, I always cut him a little bit of slack with that one because first off, when Valverde kicked the ball, it looked like more of a shot than a cross. So that was the first thing. The second thing is when it's fast paced like that and Vinicius is behind you and he's pouncing on the ball, usually the offensive player always has the instinct to pounce in comparison to the defensive player to clear the ball. It's just that natural instinct. I guess that's what makes you an attacker and a defender, but I've seen that since I've watched soccer the first time. Strikers always have that natural instinct to pounce.
See, that's cool and all, but try to explain that to a Liverpool fan. A Liverpool fan will look at you and say, I'm sorry. I love you, man, but you got to be more aware.
Yeah, I mean, that's true. I mean, because there are other examples. Now, if that's the only example, then I'll make an argument for Trent. But we do have the Villarreal example and we have the Fulham example now.
And we have other examples throughout the season, but that's something that he needs to be conscious of. The thing that I didn't like starting the game was him starting Firmino over Nunes. I mean, you could see there was no effort. No real effort, at least in the first half. They looked very dull. Liverpool, like their midfield wasn't as tenacious as they usually are. Compared to the Community Shield, they looked nothing. They looked like a shell of themselves. Diaz, Firmino, and Salah aren't really a good trio, or at least they're not as good as Nunes, Diaz, Salah.
I agree, but I think there's a very important point that we haven't even addressed yet about that game.
Mm-hmm.
Van Dijk did not look like Van Dijk in that Fulham game. And I don't know if this is something that we're gonna have to come to expect in future games. But after that ACL injury, I don't think he's ever looked like peak Van Dijk playing for Liverpool.
I don't think that'll be an issue going as the season progresses. I think he'll be a bit better than that. He'll definitely be better than that.
Because that penalty he gave away was horrible. Like
I,
you see average Premier League defenders not commit those type of mistakes. I mean, we're giving him the benefit of the doubt because he's Van Dijk. But that was a really bad play by him.
I do think that was Alexander Mitrovic actually being conscious of the situation. Like he knew where to put the ball. He knew where to fight for his penalty.
You're world class. You can't let him cut inside and then come back out. If you're Van Dijk, you take one of those options away and that's it. And then you wait for help, or you don't back off. You don't back up into your 18-yard box. You draw the line. You stay outside the 18-yard box and you make a tackle. If you follow him, you follow him. You're outside the 18-yard box. It's fine. But you can't back up into your 18-yard box and then get beat.
See, I think that was a mistake for Van Dijk that I don't think I'll see as much as the season progresses. But we're yet to see. The silver lining, really, you did see Liverpool fight, especially after Nunes comes off. How great is James Milner coming on and showing you that English style of play where all he's doing is flying tackles, getting Fulham off their feet. So that was very interesting to see.
How great is it that James Milner is extending the retirement age? What is he?
Hats off. 72. I don't know.
Not looking good for Social Security.
Yeah, they looked better with Nunes. Not gonna lie, I do like how they look with Nunes. They could have this could have easily been a different topic had that Henderson shot gone in the last minute of the game, but Fulham got away with a point. Hats off to Fulham. Also, very good performance by Alexander Mitrovic.
Very good, yeah.
Marco Silva has them playing really well, and I really like Marco Silva. I just hope he could extend this past Christmas, because one of the negatives of Marco Silva is his teams tend to perform well in the beginning of the season and then they drop off in the second half.
Is this their first season back from Division 2?
This is their first season back.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, they look good for game 1, of course. They look good drawing with Liverpool. But I think they could be a mid-level team in the Premier League.
Like I said, Marco Silva as their manager needs to keep up the consistency, because I love Reed, Pereira, and Cabano in the midfield. They looked really well. Again, Mitrovic looked really good. Mitrovic, this isn't the first time Mitrovic has had a game and a half. Mitrovic has been doing well in the Premier League, especially that year they went up. He had a really good season.
I knew Mitrovic was a beast when I saw him play with his national team.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, I don't know if it was the Euros or the World Cup that I saw him playing, and I was like, this guy's a monster. Like, and I still think he's better. He's better than Fulham. Like, and I hope other teams see that now, where he belongs on the top, like a top 8 Premier League team. He's talented enough.
Yeah, I'm interested to see where he lands, if he does land somewhere else.
I mean, I'm sure if Fulham has any type of success this season, he'll get snatched up by somebody.
Another problem with Liverpool, Thiago injured again with a hamstring. Probably going to be out for 6 weeks. So, I mean, tough luck for Thiago. There's always been a dark spot in his career.
Yeah, he gets hurt.
He gets hurt way too much.
Keita.
I mean, who?
Keita.
Oh yeah, Keita also. Yeah.
He could play instead of Thiago, or you have Harvey Elliott as well.
Harvey Elliott, he plugged in Harvey Elliott. I think Harvey Elliott still has this fear of playing, or fear of being aggressive, especially after him breaking his leg last year.
Yeah.
But I think he'll be, as the season progresses, he'll be a bit more sharp with that. It's yet to see, honestly. I do like Liverpool, but honestly, they need to be more clinical. They need to play with that tenacity.
Yeah, I mean, they're already dropping points, it's not a good sign.
Yeah, they're gonna feel that as the season goes on.
Anywho, so what about Tottenham? Thoughts on their performance this week?
I really respect Tottenham. Tottenham's Tottenham's team showed you that they can actually compete at the high level. Conte's fitness training in the off season really helped improve their stamina. They looked like they could have gone on for another two halves, to be honest.
Yeah, Antonio Conte is always impressive to me. Like he gets a lot out of the players that he gets a lot out of the players that he does have. He's not always working with world class talent, but he maximizes what he has, and I really respect him for that. Also, the fact that they were able to perform the way they did without having Harry Kane score or Son just shows you like the threat to come. It's a complete effort. Chemistry is good on the team. You don't know where the goals are going to come from, and having that superstar number 9 like Harry Kane all these seasons just adds another dimension. When the going gets tough, the team is having trouble, you have that player who can bail you out.
I mean, you mentioned Harry Kane and Son, and their best player was the other winger, Kolosevsky. And Kolosevsky actually,
Is he a winger? Is he a fullback?
I don't know. He plays wherever Conte wants him to play.
I think he's a fullback, bro. But he's just been scoring so many goals and crossing that he's
No,
like Trent Alexander.
No, I think he's a winger. I think he actually played like a right wing role, because it was fun to see Tottenham, because they start when they're going offensively, they were in a 3-5-2, and then when they go back defensively, it's 5 at the back. You see them very disciplined, very organized. You don't see any inconsistencies in defense. Whereas, and on the offense, they're so quick in the counterattack. Like this should have been 7-0, to be honest, or 7-1, because the speed with how they counterattack. Son had a chance that was missed. Harry Kane had a pass that if he passed it better, it could have been another goal. Son had a chance in the first half. Their counterattack skills are very elite.
I think they have talent. I think he's just maximizing what they have. Like Son and Harry Kane are the obvious ones. But the players they have in the back, Eric Dyer, solid Premier League player. Their goalie has been amazing for 10 seasons running now. The guy's the epitome of consistency. Their fullback is he Eddie Royale?
Emerson Royale.
Everson Royale. They got him from Barcelona, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's really impressive, honestly. I don't know why Barcelona let him go. Like, the guy's showing me something every time I see him play.
They let him go because of financial problem, because they bought him the same season they sold him.
Yeah, they got him from Real Betis, I believe.
Yeah, they got him from Betis, and then they just sold him.
The guy's good. The guy's good, and he's still young. So he has potential to be even better.
Man, even Ben Davis was taking shots from outside the box. That's how comfortable Tottenham looked.
Yeah, but also, we do have to mention that Southampton looked extremely weak. Southampton in the past has been better than this.
They have a lot of good, like James Ward-Prowse, a very good Premier League player. They have consistent players left and right. But right now, looking at them, one thing that does stand out with Southampton is whenever they're losing, it feels like they give up really easily. Like they started the match scoring. They were the ones who opened up the scoring with James Ward-Prowse. But after that, it looked like as soon as the second goal went in, it looked like a different Southampton team. And this reminds me of that game where they lost 9-0 to Leicester City from a season or 2 seasons ago. Whenever they feel like they're going down, they just give up. They let the game be. They're like, okay, we'll talk about this a different day. And honestly, they have quality players. They have a quality manager. I expect better from Southampton. But I don't hold this game too much against them, because I actually believe this is Antonio Conte's message to the top 2, that I'm here to compete. I'm here to be a problem this year.
All right, let's see how things shape up before Christmas. But I think top 4 for sure. I could see him securing 3rd place in this race easily.
Yeah, it's actually like if Liverpool look the way they look, and if this stays, which I don't think it will, but let's say this stays, I have Tottenham maybe nudging Liverpool for that 2nd place.
Yeah, why not? I mean, they have the work ethic. The talent is where I think they'll have trouble. I just don't think they're as talented as Man City and Liverpool.
They're not.
Yeah, I think they need another transfer window, maybe to inject some more talent into that team.
Hey, they have
But
until the end of the month.
yeah, I don't think they're planning on buying anyone else. I mean, but Tottenham seems like the type of team, if they have success with Antonio Conte this year, and success would look like third place, then they will reinvest in him. And then that's when I think you'll start to see Tottenham as a big boy club actually trying to compete for that first place in the Premier League. But I mean, we'll all see. I mean, let's judge them before the Christmas break. Let's see where they are at that point. Moving on. So La Liga starts next week. Thoughts on the season? Barcelona just beat this. What is it? A Mexican club, Pumas.
Yeah, Pumas. Yeah, they destroyed Pumas.
6-0. Beat the brakes off of them.
Let's say Barcelona register their players first. So that's their biggest challenge coming up in the season right now.
Yeah. If they found money to buy them, they'll find money to register them. They'll find ways to register them, rather.
Yeah, I do think they want to get rid of De Jong.
I think they want to. De Jong doesn't want to leave because he's a wise man.
Have you seen the Barcelona's ownership or Barcelona's management team trying to pressure De Jong to reduce his contract or reduce his salary? If they say if he does not reduce his salary, that they will take legal action because the way he was given that salary was unlawful. And Xavi could still not give you a consistent answer whenever he is asked. He keep like whenever you tell is De Jong staying or is he leaving, anybody could leave. That's his answer. And anybody could leave is right because Barcelona need to register these players that they signed. And this is what's interesting. They're still linked with Bernardo Silva. They still want Bernardo Silva for 50 or 60 mil. Yeah. And it just seems weird to me that you guys are trying so hard to get Bernardo Silva when you don't have your De Jong situation settled.
Side note, I do think Bernardo Silva is a perfect player for this Barcelona team, even though they're stacked with midfielders at the moment. But registering the players that they do have, I think them in La Liga will find a way. Because you gotta remember, you gotta look at it through the lens of the La Liga boardroom as well. You went from the Ronaldo Messi era, and even the Clasico, which is your biggest game of the season, ratings and viewership was down. And now for the first time in a few years, I think, you're having fans and people all around the world actually excited about Barcelona and Real Madrid again. Mm-hmm. Like you have big names. You brought in Lewandowski. You brought in Rafinha. You brought in Kessie. You brought in Kondi. Like you're stacking this Barcelona team with talent. Real Madrid already proved themselves in Europe. The Champions League winners. I mean, if you're La Liga, this is money waiting to be made. So it's from their benefit for Barcelona to get these players registered. So I think if there's any way that they can make it happen, La Liga's on their side. Like, La Liga isn't trying to not have them register their players, is what I'm trying to say.
Contrary to what their president says, every time it's brought up, they always say, "Oh, they need to get rid of some of their players."
Yeah, I think the president says that it's one of those NFL quarterback type of interviews, like say the politically correct thing, even though in the locker room you're talking trash.
Like Tom Brady, whenever he was asked about, bro, you're so good, like, bro, I can't wait to destroy that guy.
or Bill Belichick, every time they ask him about someone, he's a great player, one of the greatest players I've ever played against. In the locker room, he's trash. You can go to his left.
He doesn't. He just destroys the guy on a psychological level. It's just it's over. So I agree with you there. It's in their best interest to keep Barcelona afloat. Let's see what happens. Because I do think Barcelona is looking like one of the more entertaining teams of this year.
Oh, definitely. Everyone's gonna want to tune in to see what happens because you just injected so much talent into this team. We don't know what it's gonna look like on the field yet.
That's true.
Speaking of that, actually, who do you think that they should start? Assuming they register everyone, who do you think they should start as their front three?
I do think they should start Lewandowski, Ansu Fati, and Dembele on the right. Assuming they want to go with a bit more experience, Dembele could definitely start on the left and Rafinha on the right. So that could be an interesting way either or.
That's something that I think he played with, and I really like that. As Lewandowski is going to be through the middle, 100%. Mm-hmm. Having Dembele on the right and putting Rafinha on the left.
Yeah.
Because Ansu Fati would be my obvious choice. But Ansu Fati is becoming injury prone. And
He's young. I can't really hold that against him. Like Messi was this injury prone when he first started. Not to compare him to Messi or anything, but I mean his age is a factor on why he's injured all the time. I do think he will be a bit more solid. Now his knee injury is a bad injury for someone, for any soccer player.
yeah, that's where I was gonna go with it. Is that particular injury? Like even though
Mhm.
he's young, that particular injury has been known to be like career threatening to
Yeah.
multiple players, and he has that injury. So he seems like he's gotten over it. He's recovered, but I've seen him come back a few times from that injury, and then he ends up pulling a hamstring because you know how the body works.
Of course,
Whatever you
yeah.
balance in one area, it starts to happen in another. So if he holds up and he gets back to that form that he had prior to the injury, then it's his spot to lose, of course. But
This is why I think Ansu Fati is one of those interesting players that whenever he's on the field, he somehow finds a way to score.
yeah,
Some way, somehow.
or at least be threatening.
Definitely score. Not just be threatening. He's scored in his comeback games every time he's come back from injury. If he doesn't score that game, he scores the game after immediately. So that's something that's very that like Barcelona fans seem to have hope whenever they see the Ansu Fati back.
Yeah.
He does have a lot of pressure on him, but I think with these signings, it's kind of it relieves a lot of pressure from him. But also, in the same light, I do think it's going to take away from his game time because the minute it starts to go bad, you're going to prefer a Ferran Torres or a Rafinha or a Dembele over Ansu Fati.
I'd definitely start him over Ferran Torres, assuming he's healthy.
Mhm.
But I like the fact that there's an abundance of players because now there's healthy competition.
Mhm.
Like I don't think you'll see, like what was Dembele's problem in the past? Because he was inconsistent. Because there were who was gonna replace Dembele in the past 2 3 years?
Nobody really.
Now you can't say that. Now you have a lot of players that want to take your spot on that starting lineup. So everyone has to bring his A game. So
Mhm.
that's going to be something that Barcelona has going for them. If they need to sell players, I would sell Aubameyang.
I think they're trying to package. They're trying to make amends with Chelsea, so they're trying to package this deal with Aubameyang, De Jong, and I forget the other player, but they're trying to ship those. They're trying to ship 3 players to Chelsea.
Yeah, because although I like Aubameyang and he's a great striker, I mean he's better than being a backup striker, which is what all he's going to be as long as Lewandowski is healthy.
I mean, assuming he stays, that's a very deep squad right now. It turned from one of those inconsistent weak starting 11s or weak squads into being one of the deepest squads and a squad that actually plays really well. Like Xavi has looked really good in implementing his style of play, which is the old tiki taka uh, plus some new updates here and there. I
Yeah,
just don't know how it'll progress as the season goes on because honestly, I would love for them to keep De Jong, but realistically, Chiesi, Gavi, Pedri. That's looking like that looks like a better trio in the midfield, or not a better necessarily, but that looks like an adequate trio in the midfield. When you add in Bernardo Silva to that mix, assuming they do sell De Jong, I don't think that Xavi's gonna lose sleep
so
over that.
wouldn't they have the same problem if they brought in Bernardo Silva and they sell De Jong, or is it because Bernardo Silva's wage would be a lot less than De Jong?
Of course, his wage is going to be a lot less than De Jong. I don't think they're going to make that mistake. Even Lewandowski, I was looking at something actually. I don't know if I can pull this up, but I was looking at something earlier today that was highlighting their wages, and it was nowhere near. Even Dembele took a fat pay cut, so I don't think their wage bill is that high. And with new players coming in, also their wage bills they've been decreased. So like I don't see them bringing in Bernardo Silva just so they can give him the same amount as De Jong. I think that's stupid on Barcelona's management.
I mean, hopefully not. Also, it would be counterintuitive because you still have the problems with registering players.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they overcome that. But I really
August,
hope that they keep their players because this is going to be an interesting season with Madrid.
yeah, August 12th, I believe it kicks off La Liga. Game one,
Can't-
and I think they play. Who does Barcelona play in the first game? Rio Vallecano, I believe.
They gave Man United problems in the friendlies.
Yeah, so like we'll see what happens. A good test for game one.
Yeah, man, looking at this wage bill is really bad.
Who's the highest paid currently?
So Frankie De Jong is getting paid 560 a week.
Okay, yeah, I would sue him too if I was about to.
Yeah, but like Busquets isn't making much either. He isn't making less than that much, or it's that much less than that, but it's still a lot. Like 423. You got Alba 400. Lewandowski, they signed him, and he's at 360. That just doesn't make sense.
Yeah. Why is Alba making 400 something? Like Alba gets bullied in the Champions
I honestly don't know.
Alba, come on.
Miralem Pjanic, that's an interesting one. He's making 300. I forgot he plays on that team.
My dad reminded me of him the other day.
That's how bad he is, huh?
Yeah, he brought him back and he was like, yeah, they got him in the midfield. I like Pjanic. I think he got a raw deal with Coleman.
Yeah, I see. This is where this is where it's interesting. They really wanted to get rid of Umtiti, but Umtiti doesn't make that much on the team.
How much does he make?
He makes like 120 a week. So 6 million a year. That's not a lot. 6.25.
He's a charity case compared to everybody.
Yeah, I don't get it.
Yeah,
I honestly don't get it.
It's just racism, bro. Is what it.
We're gonna cut that out.
What it boils down to. Nah. But also defensively, like I think the underrated player that no one talks about is Christensen. Christensen's a really good player. Even with Chelsea, to me, he used to stand up.
Yeah, he really is a good player. I do think he's gonna take over for PK. PK needs to stop starting. PK and Busquets really do need to stop starting. So if I was Barcelona, I'd try to ship off Busquets as soon as possible.
Busquets gives you something. Busquets still actually produces. Piqué's done. Piqué's been expired. Busquets will be a liability when you play athletic teams.
But that's the thing. If you're looking at the top teams in Europe right now, they're very athletic.
You don't have to play Busquets in those games. You don't have to.
But you're not. That's the thing. You're not gonna take Busquets off just so you could change up your style of play in that season when you've been playing like that all year long. That's the thing with Busquets. Where if you take him out, you're forced to play with a De Jong or a Chiesi right now, because right now, if you really look at it, Gavi's not Gavi's not going to start every game because he's young, but Pedri is definitely starting. Who do you have? Pedri is one of the top midfielders in the world at his age. You're not going to take him out. So, and if you add De Jong and Chiesi to that, I think you have a very athletic midfield. I think you have a very, very dominant. At least they'll run all around instead of having whatever Busquets does, which is hobble.
I agree with you. I just think that you're gonna need Busquets because he provides something that Chiesi, even De Jong don't provide, which is the control of tempo. He still has that ability. He can just pass the ball around. He'll make small movements, those signature Busquets moves that help you keep the ball, help you control tempo, help you straighten out the midfield when you do have possession and you're going forward. I still think he gives you something that no one else in that midfield has. But he will get exposed, like you said, if you play those elite teams in the Champions League, because they're gonna run all over him. He doesn't have the legs to keep up anymore. And in those games, that's fine. Have him on the bench. Bring him in if you're leading. Bring him in if you're up 3-0 to calm down the game, control tempo. If he's willing to do that, why not? I'd keep him on a team.
I'm just looking at it from a perspective, from a wage perspective. Like looking at the wages, his wage. I agree. De Jong has the most wages. It's concrete evidence that De Jong has the highest wage. But
yeah,
Busquets is not that far behind. So I would, if it was up to me, I'd get rid of the older aging player and keep the younger player that is De Jong, because looking at it right now, I do believe that De Jong will give you more in the future versus Busquets. That's his best years are behind him. That are definitely behind him.
I agree. I would agree with you 100% from the future perspective. But then again, you do have Chiesi. And also, we're forgetting the guy who goes by the name of Nico Gonzalez.
Yeah, but okay, Nico's a young talent. You don't know what you're gonna get from Nico.
Well, I mean, we've seen him in action though.
We have, but
He's
have we
not
seen him?
Busquets, He's not De Jong. He's not even Kessie yet, but he has potential. Like if you have Kessie, he can be a backup for him in CDM position.
I mean, we'll see as the season goes on. We'll see. I don't know if they're going to use him, especially if they have this much depth. I don't think Nico Gonzalez is going to come into question. His number's not going to be called this year. But
really? Yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but no, I like I said, to me, I would stick to my guns. Get rid of the aging players. You need to build culture. When Guardiola took over with Barcelona in 08, he got rid of top quality players in order for him to implement his way, because he doesn't want players with that much experience to influence him. And I think that's I don't know if Xavi has a strong. Xavi, I believe, definitely has a stronger personality to deal with that. But still, I do think that getting rid of Piqué, Busquets, Alba, those aging players, will help you with the squad in general. Because you're gonna be like, I got rid of those guys. Whatever I say has to go my way or the highway. You don't have that when you have Busquets and Piqué playing, because realistically, like Piqué's are. What has Piqué done over the past 3 years?
He slept with Gavi's mom.
Allegedly. He already see it right there. Already locker room problems.
Sure.
How do you do that? I mean,
look, he's not the player. He's not the player he was. But that just shows you why he's been starting, because Barcelona hasn't had the talent in defense. I mean, this summer is the first time they finally actually went out there and got legit talent in the center back position. They got Christensen. They got Koundé. You will still have Ronaldo Rejo. You really don't need a Piqué for the first time. Also, give Umtiti a chance, man. The guy was great before his injury.
I don't think Umtiti has I don't think he has that drive. I don't think he cares as much anymore. I think Umtiti is trying to wait out his contract and get paid and just leave on a free whenever his contract is over. Especially after what happened with Barcelona.
But honestly, they did that because he was a great player pre-injury, and when he came back, they put him on the sidelines. They started Clement Lenglet, right?
No, ironically he's with Tottenham.
Yeah, but he should have never started over Umtiti to begin with. And once Umtiti came back from injury, he should have got his position. He should have got his starting lineup position.
That was the previous management. Like that previous management really did a lot.
And Eric Garcia, I don't want to see Eric Garcia on the field. Eric Garcia is not Barcelona material. Period.
Man, Eric Garcia and Ferran Torres, like, rule of thumb. If Guardiola doesn't want you, most likely you're not, man. You can't really get something out of him.
Ferran Torres at least shows you glimpses. Like, he does everything right, but his finished product is garbage. But he does a lot of things right. He's elite in a lot of categories. Eric Garcia is just a below average player to be playing with Barcelona. He's not tall.
Barcelona is a below average team. I mean, let's see this year if they can get it done. But with Coleman, it was a below average team, so it looked like an upgrade.
I mean, out of all the center backs I mentioned, would you start Eric Garcia over any of them?
Hell no.
I'd put Piqué over him. Still, I'd put Piqué.
I mean, it's a principle thing. I will not put Piqué in there.
Oh,
I will not.
Is this like Cheaters Anonymous?
Anyways, let's see how La Liga starts. I think Serie A starts this week too. So we'll see.
What about PSG? You catch that PSG game?
Oh, did I? That was so fun to watch.
Great game, right?
That was a
Messi goal.
Class.
Indeed.
Class. Yeah.
My favorite part about that goal is that the goalie didn't even react. He wasn't expecting it at all.
I mean, what can you do at this point? Like, the goalie's just there watching it the way.
Yeah, but he didn't even expect him to go for that double kick. Like, I think if he like, see him bicycle kick, if you see him going for the bicycle kick, like, you at least might try to attempt to dive or something. I think he, in his heart of hearts, thought he was gonna put the ball down and turn it around 100%. Yeah. And when he actually bicycle kicked it, he was like, no way.
Yeah, honestly. See, those aren't goals that Messi normally scores, but to see him attempt that and actually succeeding shows you how comfortable he is right now. He's really comfortable playing. That pass from Paredes, that Argentinian link,
Oh, beauty, beauty.
amazing, amazing.
It was one of the few times, honestly, one of the few times over the years, even including Barcelona days, where you got to see Messi running through the middle and a pass finding him clear on goal. Like, when was the last time you see Messi in that scenario?
Honestly, man, it's since Barcelona actually had talent.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, also Neymar. Neymar looked like a beast. Neymar looked like. Oh, we need to apologize to Neymar.
I apologize, Neymar.
Yeah, we need to. Yeah, honestly, sorry, Neymar. We did not
You get
expect
sick
this.
again around your sister's birthday. I understand.
My name is Reek.
My name is Reek. His name is Cheek.
I mean, Neymar really showed you that. This is the thing with Neymar. I really hope he can keep it up because this is what we all wanted Neymar to be when he left Barcelona.
Yeah.
Right? We did not want a half-assed Neymar that was not really trying. He was like yesterday. He showed you what he could do, and with Messi, I think that is his best partner in crime. If you see Neymar and Messi play, you feel like this is one of those that duo. You could still sense MSN from, or MN at this point. No Suarez. We miss you, Suarez.
Yeah, we miss you, Suarez. But what I worry about is when Mbappe comes back, I hope that he doesn't ruin the chemistry they have between them. Because Mbappe is such a big figure, and when he gets back, you know he's going to demand the bulk of the chances, being the star guy who PSG adore. And I hope that Neymar's confidence is still high. Messi's still looking for Neymar. That link is still there. And they don't just focus on Mbappe and everything goes out the window.
Let's see how they handle it because they do have the young talent coming in again. Like they do have the Nuno Mendes from on the left back position. They do have Vitina. Verratti is still there. Verratti is always going to give you something. He's going to give you a good performance here and there. Hakimi, man, Ashraf Hakimi. Ashraf Hakimi is honestly one of my favorite players. Watching him come down all the way from the back, just that wing is his. That flank is just his.
The pride of Morocco.
Yeah, the pride of Morocco. Love Hakimi.
Yeah,
and
he has no deficiencies. Like, see, he's another guy that Trent Alexander could learn from. Because the guy can defend too.
Yeah.
He's a beast offensively, but he'll lock people down.
Yeah, I don't think he's as good as Arnold offensively, but he's definitely better defensively.
Yeah, and to me, he's the better overall right back because he's not as good as Arnold offensively, but he's right there he's in that league.
Yeah, he's definitely in that league. Pick your it's a toss up. Like pick your poison with those two. But I guess right now because Arnold had a mistake and it's still fresh in our memory, we're gonna bash him a little bit. But Arnold's still one of those top right backs. That's why it's annoying when he has those mistakes. To be honest,
I'd still take Ashraf Hakimi over him. But that's
I take him this week too.
Time will tell who the better player will be over their career.
Let's. You're right with the Mbappe thing. I think Mbappe coming back might disrupt a little bit of that chemistry that they have going on right now. But I don't think it's something they can overcome.
I mean, I hope they can overcome for the sake of Messi because I want them to compete in the Champions League this year. They have too much talent not to, and if they don't. Nasser Khalifi is going to end up throwing everyone in the trash. That's number one. Number two, I want Messi to have some success outside of Barcelona. Just because all these haters who say, "Oh, Ronaldo did it everywhere and he was only able to do it in Barcelona," can finally close their mouth.
I really don't care about those people, but I do want Messi to succeed. I think Messi deserves something from PSG. Not in terms of like an entitlement thing. I just think that he went to PSG. PSG was structured without him, but I think that with what Messi has given to the sport, I think that he deserves something out of anyone. Honestly, when it comes to the sport.
See, I feel that way, and when it comes to the World Cup, in regards to Messi, that because of everything he's given to the sport, I want to see him lift up that trophy. Just because. We know he's the GOAT, but this will just be the stamp of confirmation.
I agree with you there. And this honestly, this is the best chance Argentina has had in a
They haven't
while.
lost the game in, I don't know, maybe 30 matches or so.
Yeah, since the 2014 World Cup team, I don't think that any Argentina team has been as good as this one.
Yeah. So they have a shot. I mean, we'll see what happens in the World Cup, but they have
They
a
do.
shot.
So, how did you like that thrashing from Bayern Munich to Eintracht Frankfurt?
I mean, typical Bayern Munich spanking. You know, different season, same results.
I mean, it could have easily been 10-1, to be honest.
They could have easily just handed Bayern Munich the league right then and there, and no one would have argued.
No one would have batted an eye, to be honest.
Like, sure, nice to see you, sir.
Yeah, they clearly don't miss Lewandowski, but Jamal Musiala has interested me. Scored a brace, a
Oh,
young player coming
he's a
out.
beast. They've been talking about him since he was 17 years old. So it's
Yeah.
not like he came out of nowhere. I mean, people saw him coming.
Having that performance with Nabri, Mane on that team, and Muller shows you that this guy's here to stay. This guy's here to give you a
Oh,
performance.
he's the real deal. He's the real
Yeah.
deal. Undeniable talent. He's right up there with Ansu Fati, Saka, Phil Foden as like the next generation of ballers.
Yeah, I really hope he gives us a consistent season. I really do.
Yeah,
Royce is the gift that keeps on giving for Dortmund fans.
of course, the epitome of loyalty.
I really respect Royce. Don't think much will change. Still think Bayern Munich is going to win the league. But, I mean, that yellow wall, that sea of yellow wall, have something to cheer for, and that's Marco Royce.
Webster fans as well.
Yeah. You got to respect the German fans. Like, watching the Frankfurt game, seeing that sea of white fans with white shirts. That's what I meant. White t-shirts. Yeah, they still were supporting their team, even though they were getting destroyed by Bayern Munich.
Yeah, I mean, why not? You know, if you're a real fan, that's what you're gonna do. Yeah, just like Liverpool, you'll never walk alone. That's their verdict.
Yeah, you'll never walk alone. Well, I guess this is it for today, for this week's
episode of Reek Sheikh. And see you next time.
See you next week, inshallah.
Inshallah.